We are back, and I have next to me my amazing co-host or cohorts for this topic of all things dating, relationship, and love. I have the beautiful, amazing Liera to my left, and over here to my right, I have Jackie Smith. So we have our youngin, our mid, our seasoned, we have experience to the gamut to marriage. So you're covered. And let's just continue. We had a great discussion before, so let's continue this. And this is a big one, ladies. This is the Proverbs 31 woman. Woo! I have words in the word because there's so much to get into with this topic, for real. This woman has had us in a chokehold for generations and centuries and years. And I'm just going to have us go into our word and kind of look at some of the attributes of the Proverbs 31 woman. Let's see. It says, who can find a wife of noble character? She is far more precious than jewels. She has the heart of her husband, and he will not lack anything good. She rewards him with good, not evil. She selects wool and flax and works with willing hands. She is like the merchant ships, bringing her food from far away. She rises while it is still night, provides food for her household and portions for her female servants. She evaluates a field and buys it. She plants a vineyard with her earnings. She draws on her strength. She reveals that her arms are strong. She sees that her profits are good. Her lamp never goes out at night. She extends her hands to the spinning staff. Her hands hold the spindle. Her hands reach out to the poor. She extends her hands to the needy. She makes her own bed coverings. Her clothing is fine linen and purple. She makes and sells linen garments. She delivers belts to the merchants. Strength and honor are her clothing. Her mouth speaks wisdom, and loving instruction is on her tongue. She watches over the activities of her household and is never idle. Women have noble deeds, but she surpasses them all. Charm is deceptive and beauty fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. Give her the reward of her labor, and let her works praise her at the city gates. I tell you, ladies, I'm exhausted just reading it. I am. So, let's get into this. First of all, is this the ideal woman?
I would say yes, in a way, because it exemplifies the qualities of a God-fearing woman. So I would say yes, it is the ideal kind of standard. But I feel like in our humanity, we're gonna fall short sometimes because we're human at the same time. God's the only perfect person. So.
Do you think this is the ideal woman?
Well, I don't think there is an ideal woman. I think he's giving an overview, as Lyra said. It's in the very end he does say, it's the favor is deceitful, beauty is vain, but a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised. Give her of the fruits of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gate. So I think it's a standard that we all try to reach, but I don't think any of us ever reach it, as Lyra said. I don't think there is an ideal. There is an ideal woman because Christ made an ideal woman, but none of us have ever reached that.
Who's the ideal woman? Oh, Eve.
In the beginning, humans. He had an idea for us, and we messed it up. So there is an ideal woman, and this woman goes as close to it as possible. But we get so caught up in the things that she does that I sometimes think that we forget that the main thing that she does is that she reveres her God, and that she takes care of her family. And we all do these things as a wife. We all do these things. We don't do the flax and all this stuff because of the time that we live in. But this is just a woman who cares for her home, who undergirds her husband and covers her home, and that's what she does. Whether she's spinning flax or going out teaching children or whatever she's doing, she's taking care of her home. That's the thing that is happening.
So when you say that, then, because that was a good point I was going to say, as single women, because there are a lot of references to how she cares for her home, her family, and her husband, with us being single women and dating in that way, is this a woman that how could we relate to this? As single women, because there are so many references. So when you're saying don't focus so much on what she's doing per se, because it could look different for each of us depending on where we are, it's her heart posture.
Right. And my thing is what you're looking at is that she undergirds her husband and she covers her home. She believes she reverences her God. He's first. She undergirds her husband. She covers her home.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I wish I had this teaching, because to me this has always been kind of, like I said, a chokehold on me, because a lot of times women are not leading the conversations in this. We're getting it from the pulpit, and a lot of times from a male lens, and then when women have taught on it, again, it's just she's doing so much. I'm just like, I'm exhausted, this list, and it feels very domesticated, very, it just feels a lot. And for me, I thought, I am not her, and this is not somebody I've strived to be. Although I know she is put up before us as the picture of the model woman. But let me ask this: I've burdened with it, had felt it as a burden, because I'm like, but do you need to be this woman to get a husband or attract a husband, or do you guys think so?
I don't know that you need to be that woman to attract a husband, but I think you're just, without even thinking about the husband, that your goal is to get to as close to this as possible. Whether you have a husband or you don't have a husband, your goal might be able to get as close to this as possible. Like, whatever God puts me in my hands, I'm going to steward it well. Well, first of all, he's going to be my God. Whatever he puts in my hands, I'm going to steward well, and I'm going to cover it and take care of it. But do you have to be this to get a husband? You look at the world around you, will tell you you don't have to be this to get a husband.
But you should. This is what we should aspire to be.
Yeah, I think it's hard because sometimes the perception is like what we were talking about, how we're focused on what she does. And I know in my generation, it's been a lot of the hashtag Proverbs 31 woman, where they're like waking up early and they're getting their coffee and they're reading their Bible and doing devotionals and things. And it's just all focused on like the aesthetic of it. But we're not focusing on, like what you said about the heart posture. And so I think it should be more about just what am I trying to say, like playing reverence in like fearing the Lord, instead of focusing on like the outward, like
the things that she's doing. Well,
so much.
Because even the things that she's doing, he said beauty is fading and charm is deceptive and all this. But even the things that she's doing are going to fade, and can be deceptive. Can you do this to get a husband and then I'm done because I got a husband? So this could be, so we don't really want to focus so much on she's spinning flax and doing this and doing the other. What she's doing is supporting her husband and covering her family, reverencing her God, supporting her husband and covering her family.
What does that look like in the context of us without the husband and the family? Like, just what are some things that it looks like in maybe your life or your life without the husband? Because we are single, it's really easy to go, oh, I do this, but we don't have the husband, we don't have, well, you have kids,
right,
but
and grandchildren.
But what does it look like in the context of just being a single woman?
I would say for me, it's about caring for my family and serving them the best possibly as I can, and serving in my local church, and then just doing what God is calling me to do vocationally, and just focusing on those things and just becoming more like Christ in that. Instead of like focusing on like trying to chase after a husband or anything like that.
What about you, Jackie?
Well, you just said, well, I said, under just stewarding what God has given me. He's given me a family. I have grandchildren. Stewarding that, covering that, and just reverencing God. Basically, that's what for me. If He's given me a home, taking care of my home. Whatever He has given me, to steward it well. And right now it's undergirding my grands, my children as much as they need it, and reverencing God.
Do we know any Proverbs 31? Like, if you had to name a Proverbs 31 woman, who would you name? I know who I would name. Claire Huxtable.
Okay.
I would name her. Do you ever know the kind of question? Okay. I've be like, girl, I'm not that young. Like, get your life together, Shauna. I'll receive that from you, Lyra. But
Claire
Huxtable, I feel like she was
Claire
doing
Huxtable
it all.
Wasn't a real woman. though. She was a character on the TV show.
She was a good character. Proverbs 31 woman.
So I don't know a Proverbs 31 woman because I don't know. I wouldn't name a Proverbs 31 woman because if I name someone, then I leave someone else out. And again, if you are I'm gonna keep saying this, undergirding your husband, covering your family, reverencing revering your God, you are a Proverbs 31 woman. So whether you get up early or sleep late or whatever you do, if you're covering your family, if you're undergirding your husband and you're reverencing God, you are a Proverbs 31 woman.
Do you know any person, somebody you would name as a Proverbs 31 woman, Lear?
I would say my mom and my grandmothers, they set a good example of what it means to like serve and submit to your husband, just be of service to people, and like kind of exemplifies those qualities that are listed in it. So
it's amazing. Do you think that it's hard to kind of, well, we've already discussed that, but do you think that has still been kind of a burden under the male gaze as far as being Proverbs or trying to be Proverbs 31 women? Yeah.
Say that again.
Do you think it's like hard to kind of even subscribe to this under the male gaze, to stand tall in your calling as working towards being a Proverbs 31 woman under the male gaze, though? Like the men who get to kind of have dictated kind of what a wife is or what a good woman is or what a girlfriend is. Have you all struggled with that? And it's like, these are my values. This is what I feel like God is calling me to be and stand in, but I'm also a woman of the world and dating men or wanting to appear attractive to men in a certain way.
I would say, like, when I was at high school, I struggled with the male gaze, like, thing because I wasn't, the attractive one in the class and things like that. I was, like, known for my intelligence and, like, my academics. And so I would see the other girls, like, they would be dressing based off of what they saw on social media and things like that. And sometimes I even would ask my mom, like, Mom, can I wear makeup and do these things to kind of appear like them, And I wasn't trying to do it necessarily for the male gaze. But it was also still from that worldly standard of what I was seeing. But I think because I've been growing with God lately, my perception has changed, and so now I just want to be more like Christ, and I want to have these qualities. I think it's still hard with the male gaze because I think some women, even in Christianity, they're focusing on being the Proverbs 31 just to attract the husband instead of just focusing on being the Proverbs 31 woman, and so I think that's where we're going wrong there. So
yeah,
I think she made a good point. The goal of trying to attract a husband is where we're going wrong. I think it's
and I've done it. I've done it all. I don't cook, and I've told men, I cook, and then I had to try to learn real quick, and it was horrible. I tried to learn how to cook rice and beans. It's so simple, and it did not go well, and it was just like, just be the Proverbs 31 woman that doesn't cook, and you're gonna have to figure it out.
Or just be the Krishana, the woman that God made Krishana to be. And get to know God and Christ. So the male gaze, I guess for me, I don't know if it's because I'm now in my 60s and I've been married and divorced and I'm older. But again, as Leah said, my focus is on Christ. So the male gaze to me is less of an issue in my life now than it was before, because I know my value whatever a male thinks of me, I know my value in Christ. And when I look in the mirror, I like what I see. So that makes a huge difference. A
big difference. So let me say, I've been delivered.
Okay.
I'm just saying, I have been that. I've done the fake and bake even. Like, I've literally because as a woman, you're supposed to be able to do all this stuff. Like, I've lied and told men I had like so many, like hundreds of $1,000s in my bank account. I didn't, because I thought as a woman, you're supposed to be this picture. I went out and bought food and put it in personal containers. Like, I made it and try to pretend. Yeah, I've done it. I've been delivered. Thank you, Jesus.
All right, I'm afraid you have been delivered.
I have been. And so, yeah, like, I'm glad that we as women get to have this conversation, because like I said, I just genuinely think we haven't led the conversation around it.
But if you think about the women that in your family that are married, were they Proverbs 21 women, and they still got, well, were they?
I think that the women in my family have all had traits. I think like what Liera said, they've had traits. I don't think anybody that I can think, but I don't know. Yeah. So I think they've all had like strong traits, like different traits, but I don't think any of them. I told you mine was Claire Huxtable, the imaginary character. But as far as the women in my family, but the traits that the women in my family have that model the Proverbs 31 woman, they model it well.
So they had some of their traits, but not all of their traits.
Yeah, I would take bits, but what I've seen, they've modeled it really, really well.
Okay. And so when you went to get the fake and bake and stuff, you were trying to model the Proverbs 31.
But I think because, like as Liera said, for you, family, but I was kind of looking more towards the world, my friends, my peers, and like you said, social media can play a part. This is what it should look like, even when they're putting Jesus on it. Proverbs 30 woman, godly woman, you look like this, you have this, and I thought, oh wow, let me try. And then I just wanted to catch a man. I'm gonna just keep it a buck. I was just trying to get a man, and so I was like, look, this is what he wants. Let me go get this fake and bake.
And that shows you how the world is turned around upside down almost, because you said I've told men that I have thousands of dollars in my bank account because a woman's supposed to have. When did it become that the woman's supposed to have all this? When did that happen? Because generally in the word, or in the beginning, the way God designed it, it was the husband was taking care of the wife, and the wife was taking care of the home. And so the woman didn't have to come with millions of dollars in her bank account. So and that's not even in here. I mean,
I think it comes from like on social media. It was like there was one point in time where it was all about like being the boss woman and independent, and I think since that happened, I think so many women have catered to that and they focus on that. And then when we have Christianity, when they're coming into the faith, they're taking those qualities and they're kind of like merging them in with Christian values, and then now it's like, I have to do this too.
And also I want to say, because there's not a lot of women that look like, when the women that we do go hold up to model, they generally represent this. Like you say, Claire Huxtable is a fictional character, but when you think of the women that we're not talking about the woman who's doesn't know how, like in church, in our communities, when we lift it, we're not downplaying and saying you're negative, but the women we go, oh wow, the mother of the church, the pastor's wife, the women that we even lift up, they always generally are some kind of way either domesticated or like pastors, oh, I have this degree, or I have this type of access, or this level of living, this status income wise. We're not really ever highlighting like, wow, you are wearing purple socks and red t-shirt today. Wow, this is a woman to be praised. Or wow, you don't, have children and you're just living your life, but you love God. Well, let's praise you. It's generally when we're going this, us as women, and men pick, it's, ooh, look at, she's bad, she's got the degrees. Ooh, look at her. Look how she knows how to present a table or cook, or ooh, look at her. She's, whatever. I don't think we're just in general. So I think we, that just, for me anyway, aside from I just wanted a man. Okay. It was society. I'm just saying we don't highlight. We say, oh, it's her heart, but we don't highlight a lot of women with just the heart. It's always the heart with the attachment, with the accomplishments, always. We might not intend to, but we do. But I will say, I think this is a good way for us to say, you know what? Let's free ourselves. You are a Proverbs 31 woman because God made you that way. Where you fall short, you got the word to know how to pick yourself back up. Hopefully you have women around you, cohorts, friends, family members to help guide you along the way. And let's be amazing and rock this thing out.